This photograph was taken in 1956. It's a rare photo of Idi Amin marching to the tune of a colonial army band of the King African Rifles. This is part of a rare history of the King African Rifles which has not been written or recorded much. Glad to note that the Uganda People's Defense Forces has plans to set up an army museum. This could be part of the information for future posterity. Please subscribe, comment, and give a like if you appreciate this article. This was one of the ceremonial parades that vibrated army barracks in East Africa. It was an important occasion in the life of Idi Amin. It was the peak of his career as a commissioned officer. The ceremony was held at Langata Barracks in 1956. The rank of warrant officer, or Afande in Kiswahili, was the senior-most post for an African in the colonial army in the 1950s. Soldiers refer to holders of the rank as officer anayevaa korokoro. The korokoro for Afande was worn on the left-hand side and had an emblem of the King African Rifles. Only two other Ugandans held the post before independence. The first one was Shaban Opolot, who joined the Uganda Army in 1945. Opolot was promoted to the rank of warrant officer or Afande in 1949. Opolot was appointed the Ugandan Army Commander and Chief of Staff in 1964 until 23 February 1966, when Obote made him Chief of the Defense Staff. The other was Tito Lutwa Okello, who had joined the army in 1940 and served in the East African campaign of World War II. Later, he rose to become commander of the Uganda People's Defense Force from 1979 to 1985. He later became the 8th president of Uganda from 29th July 1985 to 26th January 1986. The fact that Idi Amin was given the post of a warrant officer was the pinnacle of his career that later catapulted him into army leadership and president of Uganda. Idi Amin had joined the army in 1946 after the Second World War. Having joined the army as an assistant cook in 1946, Amin distinguished himself in the army. Firstly, he proved himself to be more than a cook. During the annual 100-mile march of the army, which was organized for the infantry soldiers, Idi Amin always showed marked leadership. He was always on the lead of the marching soldiers. He also gave support to weak soldiers by carrying them on his shoulders together with their Bren guns. This was observed by Major Groom, who was his company commander. Secondly, Idi Amin was a leading marksman, extremely adept at using the gun. He scored big during the annual shooting range, during which he won many trophies. Thirdly, Idi Amin served his colonial masters with distinction. During the shifter menace of the 1950s, he scored big. The shifters aimed to secede the northern part of Kenya with Somalia. Fourthly, Idi Amin participated in crushing the Mau Mau rebellion, which started in 1952 to 1956. He served in Murang'a, Nyeri, and Nairobi. It should be remembered that Idi Amin was a sportsman who made a mark in the field of boxing rugby, which was also called Karamojong ball, in the King African Rifles, in Ginger, and also in basketball. He served as Uganda's heavyweight boxing champion in the 1950s and early 60s. It was in the strength of his service to his colonial masters that saw Idi Amin rise fast in army ranks to reach the post of Afande, warrant officer. After this parade, Idi Amin was sent to Jinja School of Infantry as a trainer at the 4th Battalion King African Rifles. A Tanganyika army officer called Amin Kashmir, of Asian origin, recalled being trained by Idi Amin at the School of Infantry in 1957 before he proceeded to Sandhurst. By 1964, Amin Kashmir was the senior-most East African soldier, having attained the rank of a captain. Kashmir's career in the army was affected by the mutiny of 1964. He bore the brunt of the Tanganyika mutiny of 1964 because of his Asian ancestry. The mutineers deported him and other European officers to Britain, despite the fact that he was born in Tabora. Later, he was recalled and participated in the reorganization of the Tanzania Army under Mrisho Sarakikia. It should be noted that Idi Amin climbed army ranks to reach the rank of Major General and later Field Marshal. Although Idi Amin was not educated, having attained Standard 4 level of education, he was largely self-taught in life. He also had charisma and spoke different Ugandan languages. His loyalty initially to his colonial masters and later to Milton Obote before turning against him bore him fruits that enabled him to climb to the country's top leadership. It should be noted that the attainment of the rank of warrant officer or Afande was the springboard for Amin to advance his army career. This had serious ramifications on the politics of Uganda in the after years. The colonial authorities trusted Idi Amin and gave him opportunity to train in Britain in preparation for a future army of independent Uganda. This would replace the King African Rifles. Idi Amin fully satisfied the colonial authorities as loyal and capable of executing orders. It was from this position that Amin rose the rank of lieutenant in July 1961. He would later, together with Lieutenant Shaban Opolot, who rose to become Uganda Army Commander after independence, Lieutenant Mrisho Sarakikia, who would also later become commander of the Tanzanian Army, be sent to Kahawa Garrison, where they were involved in training of newly commissioned officers. After a short stint at Kahawa Garrison, Idi Amin would later be sent to Turkana to quell cattle rustling menace. His handling of the Turkana, in which several of them were killed, put Amin on the spotlight as a ruthless person. This action against the Turkana nearly threatened Amin's career in the army. The army report recommended that action be taken against Amin. It should be recalled that Sir Walter Fleming Scott, who was governor of Uganda, put forward the recommendation to Dr. Milton Obote. However, Dr. Milton Obote refused the recommendation. Instead, he said that Amin should be reprimanded. The governor did warn him that Amin would cause problems for him. After years, Dr. Milton Obote regretted not having acted on the recommendations. The 1964 army mutiny in Uganda, Kenya, and Tanganyika gave opportunity for rapid rise in army ranks. The officers of the Ugandan Rifles which was formerly the Kings African Rifles, mutinied against poor pay and the fact that they were being led by the British Army. The result was that the British Army had to leave the country after putting down the mutiny. What followed was the rapid promotion of local Ugandan army officers to senior positions. Idi Amin was one of the officers who earned rapid promotion in the army. By the time of the overthrow of Sir Edward Mutesa as president of Uganda in 1966, Amin had attained the rank of colonel. It was on this strength that Amin was promoted to brigadier. Between 1966 and 1969, there were accusations against Amin, and these were the accusations that he was creating his own power base in the army by training a 2,000-man army, that Amin, had embezzled army funds. Then there was the aspect that he participated in attempts to assassinate Dr. Milton Obote in December 1969. Another element that was critical was that he was one of the suspects behind the assassination of Brigadier Okoya and his wife in January 1970. It was after the attempted assassination of Dr. Milton Obote in December 1969 that Brigadier Opolot was placed under detention. There was a time when Uganda Army had 3 brigadiers. That is Brigadier Idi Amin, who was the army commander. Then there was Brigadier Hussein, who was in charge of the 2nd Battalion in Moroto. And the third one was Brigadier Okoya of the 2nd Infantry Brigade, based in Masaka. However, in 1970, Idi Amin was promoted to the rank of Major General and was made the Defense Secretary in June 1970. In a new army structure which was created in June 1970, Dr. Milton Obote assumed the command of the army. Idi Amin became Defense Secretary, while Brigadier Shaban Hussein was assumed the post of Chief of Staff of the Army. Colonel Juma Musa was made the new Air Force Commander. In January 1971, orders had been issued to the effect that Amin should actually be arrested for embezzling army funds. This actually led to the coup of 25th January 1971, in which Idi Amin became the president of Uganda. During that year, Amin earned a promotion to become full general by passing the rank of lieutenant general. It was, however, not until 1975, during the month of July 25th, that he was promoted to the rank of field marshal and commander of the army. Kindly subscribe, comment, and give a like.